Hi everybody. So today we are going to be doing a question that I don't see a lot actually. Um, does this relationship, what's the wording? Does this relationship actually work for my higher good? Is this something that I do need to continue investing into? This could be someone that you are with. This could be someone that you are not with. This could be someone that you're not talking to. This could be someone that you might want to get with. There's a lot of situationals in this. But ultimately speaking, does this help you move forward within your spiritual journey? Is this someone that you should kind of continue investing your time with? So, because I think we all have that question. Let's be real here. Um, so the first deck that we have coming out is going to be the Happy Tarot. The second deck that we have is going to be the Secret Fairy Garden deck. And the last deck that we have, I don't remember the name, but it's from an Etsy shop and they don't even sell this deck anymore. So, but it's really nice and it's a really cool deck and I've always loved it. I've had it for a long time. So yeah, take your time, no rush here. This is definitely a maybe triggering question for a lot of people. We might get some answers that you don't want to hear. And I think also just kind of realizing not all relationships need to last until the end of our lives, kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so there will be chapters in the video, and there will also be timestamps in the description box. I would love it if you liked, subscribed, all those beautiful things while you're looking for your group. And yeah, I hope to see you in a second. Bye. Hello, group one. So if you chose the Happy Tarot, this is your reading. You've scrubbed to the right place. It's good to see you here. So let's get to it. Let's get a couple cards on what this relationship looks like, and then we will get some clarification as well. So we are trying to find out what this relationship is like, what the situation currently looks like, Spirit. And then we are going to get whether or not this connection is bringing you to your highest good, whether or not this relationship is taking group one on their best spiritual journey. And let's get one more. One more, please. One more for my group one. Thank you. Okay. This already feels like someone you might be fighting with the Five of Wands coming out. Eight of Wands also coming out in reverse. This could be someone you're not talking to. And even if you're not actually fighting, it might be kind of a battle that you have in your head of whether or not this is someone that you should kind of continue seeing or being with, or maybe not being with, or what have you. It definitely does feel like, though, at this moment you're not speaking or on speaking terms. Sometimes that helps people kind of getting that distance in the way, just so that they have time to kind of think and process. With the Nine of Pentacles, it feels like somebody in this relationship is ready for something possibly different. There's a lot of foundational sense of self here, and there's also a lot of understanding, this person understanding what they want and what they need. And it's like all of this is happening in this relationship, and this card looks so calm and peaceful, and it's looking in the direction, like a different direction from the relationship. Anyway. So, with the Five of Cups coming out in reverse, I think there's definitely been a lot of sadness within this relationship. And this is something that is kind of... This is something that I think my group is learning to let go of in a lot of senses. And then you have like courage, strength in reverse, which makes me feel like there's a lack of courage. And the word just like jumped out, so it's kind of like, I think there might be a lack of courage and also a lack of listening to the inner voices that are like, why are you still here? I'm just, I knew this was going to get a little nitty gritty, and I'm, hoping that you are prepared for that as well. With the strength coming out in reverse as well, it definitely speaks to the idea of not listening to like the inner animalistic instincts. I think the animal side, the wild side of you is like, get out of this. But the rational side is like, maybe let's wait and see what happens. But then you have Two of Wands, and then you have the Ace of Wands. So it's like, there's this whole new journey ahead of you, and you also kind of have the world in your hands. And Spirit is trying to give you this opportunity to strike the match with possibly something different or someone different. And it's just been really hard to make the decision, but you understand that the decision is yours, ultimately. With the Nine of Swords, this is definitely something that has been keeping you up and keeping you awake, and very anxiety-inducing, a lot of thinking it over rather than taking any actual moves towards it. I'm definitely getting a kind of... I don't necessarily think this... I would think that this person is kind of holding you back, almost. I think in a lot of ways they tried to tame the lion, with strength coming out. And I feel like, again, there's just been a lot of sadness with these two fives. There's been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of fighting. There's been a lot of things happening with this relationship. So let's clarify. Let's just clarify all of them. I'm just going to see if maybe... Yeah, there's a lot of injustices going on in this relationship. It feels like there's not a fair give-off from either side at this point anymore. It doesn't feel like there's a fair trade-off. And also it feels like this relationship has gotten a lot of bad cards in the first place. It kind of just dealt with a lot of maybe coming into this situation at the wrong time as well. And there's this blocked feeling of wanting new things to kind of be able to come in, new... with the Eight of Wands being in reverse, and also the Fool being in reverse, wanting these new things, new types of communication, new types of blessings even. And someone here is not ready to kind of make that deep dive into something different, I think. And I think it's been difficult to kind of make that shift into something else. With the Ace of Swords coming out, definitely it feels as though this person is blocking their own mental state in a lot of ways, and blocking a new kind of mental habits. Yeah. That would kind of lead them into something different outside of this situation. And I think also just kind of like starting to believe the lies that they might not be able to leave this relationships in a safe manner. I'm getting the word safe, so if that is something that is really important here, where there's something physical happening, especially with the Five of Wands coming out. I would definitely try your hardest to get out of this relationship. I know this can be very sticky situations. I just needed to take that one. But there's also a reminder here with the Nine of Pentacles that you are able and capable to kind of move out of that space if need be. It's so interesting because there's this Five of Cups in reverse, and then there's this Page of Pentacles upright, and this Five of Cups is just so sad, and you know, we're learning to let go of it. It feels like this person is learning to let go of it, but it feels like such a heavy feeling. And then with the Page of Pentacles, this person looks so happy, even to just be investing into something different and moving into a different space. Yeah. With with the Knight, with the Page of Swords coming out on top of Strength again, it kind of is this feelings of, and with the Ace of Swords coming out as well, this person starting to, it feels like the situation might be getting a little bit manipulative. And you know, manipulation can work on both sides as well. But it feels like someone is becoming manipulative here and kind of making this person feel like they cannot live without the other person, and kind of blurring the boundaries between the both of them, and kind of trying to make them into like one form kind of thing, especially with the Emperor coming out too. Trying to like melt things together so that they don't feel like they are stable or capable to be on their own or to be doing things on their own. With the Emperor coming out, definitely it feels like in a lot of ways this person has put you in a box, and it's very easy for them to kind of, I think they're very well off for themselves and doing the best in their own life, but it doesn't feel like they're allowing the space for you to also be growing as well. There's a fear here to be really vulnerable to what might happen with the Star coming out in reverse, and a fear to also be able to open up about these feelings. And also there's an understanding that they would have to really be doing this alone, on their own kind of thing. And I think that causes a lot of fear for this person that's thinking of maybe getting out of this relationship. Four of Wands in reverse too, definitely just showing me that long term this is definitely not something that would be beneficial. Ooh, okay, let's get some Oracle cards. I did not think it was going to get this nitty-gritty within the first group, but here we are. Getting that elbow grease out, just ripping the Band-Aid off. I'm getting a yes, which feels a little bit, could technically go either way. But for me, it's more of a yes, you should not be, this should not be something that you continue in. You have communicate clearly, and then you also have opportunity. And again, we have that Ace of Wands coming out with the Two of Wands as well. There's definitely opportunity coming your way, and I think allowing yourself, you know, if the relationship isn't super manipulative, or there isn't some kind of physical abuse happening, I think allowing yourself to communicate clearly to your partner, or maybe to your friends who can help you kind of get out of this situation. I think that would be something that's really helpful here. And I think also communicating to yourself clearly what the steps you need to take are and what they look like. Let's get a couple from the romance angels. I think I just have this upside down. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. And I think this could very much apply to both parties. But I think it also kind of, I think it kind of shows people where this other person's head is at. And why possibly there's been so much ruckus within this relationship. And if anyone's religious factors are coming into terms of your relationship, your friendship, whatever it is, that is not religion and that is just hate. So allow yourself to take what that is. Very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. And this is, again, kind of how we talked about, make that clear-cut choice, and communicate clearly to yourself what you want to do in this situation. And it can happen, but you have to be the one who really chooses it and believes in your decision. And yeah. Okay, group one. I know this was a little tough, a little rough, but I think it was well worth what we talked about here. And I hope this was helpful. And if it was, definitely like, subscribe, all those things. I would love it if you did. If you don't, it's fine too. And thanks for tuning in. Bye. Hi, group two. Welcome. If you chose the, what is this deck called? Secret Fairy Garden deck. This is your reading. You have scrubbed to the right place. You've come to the right chapter. Welcome. The last group definitely got a little heated. So if that feels up to your speed, I would definitely check them out. And if not, then, you can stay here and see what this gives you. See what it gives. So we are going to start with 3 cards on what this relationship is currently looking like. Last one here. What is this relationship currently looking like? One last time. One last one, please. Thank you. And then we are going to get cards on whether or not this person is leading you to your highest good. Whether or not this person is leading you to your highest good. Whether or not this person is leading you to your highest good. Should this person continue with this person? And I will be clarifying, and we will also get oracle cards. Okay. Definitely this feels like someone that has brought movement into your life with the 3 of Pentacles. Definitely a shift. Maybe they even made you realize that you need to go back to school. This could be a work partner or someone that you've kind of just allowed yourself to really collaborate on making something happen within the both of you. With Temperance coming out in reverse, it definitely feels like this relationship might be seeing its those times where it feels a little I wouldn't want to say in a rut, but kind of like exerting too much out of the other person and asking maybe a little bit too much out of the other person, um, and not and not exactly knowing how to reserve your energy, or not exactly knowing how to kind of refill your energy as well. With the Four of Swords as well, there's definitely not a lot of time to kind of rest. I feel like something might have happened between the both of you, and then you kind of just continued, um, without taking real time to kind of take a step back, assess the situation, really figure out a plan of action towards the next moves within this relationship, and just kind of went right back into it without much thought. Yeah. With the Chariot coming out, there's definitely a sense of you being allowed to take your own direction here. And also a sense of you needing to understand that you have the reins on your own life. And it does feel a lot like this person takes a lot of energy out of you. Um, with the Four of Wands coming out in reverse, it definitely feels like there's like a want for this to be a union and something to work out within this situation, but it has been difficult to kind of find that middle ground, where both parts kind of work well to each other. I think maybe even I'm getting like you could have wanted to get married and that didn't happen. Um, but I don't necessarily see, especially with the Four of Wands coming out in reverse, I definitely don't really see this relationship being something that is long term, or something that can withstand being long term. And like I said in the last group, I knew this reading was going to get a little bit in there. Um, so if this is triggering for you, definitely, pause, stop the video if you have to completely, all that kind of stuff. Take a few breaths and come back if you want to or don't. Up to you. With the Tower coming out, definitely there's a need for a shift in perspective on this situation. Um, and there's also kind of just, I think, like, at a foundational sense, possibly both parties knew this relationship wasn't going to work that well, um, but kept building and building until the tower just kind of came crumbling. Um, and I think the expectations of this relationship were a lot bigger than what they actually knew could happen or be put into the relationship. And I think now that has been something that is really difficult to kind of deal with, and kind of allowing that to all come down so that you can see what you're working with, I think would be really helpful in this situation. We've got four of. You have the Emperor coming out in reverse. Definitely someone here is kind of really holding on to this relationship, or really holding on to the other person. And again, with this Temperance coming out in reverse, it feels like someone is really needy in this relationship, and that's the word that's coming up. And it feels like this person doesn't have their act together. They don't have their all their ducks in a row, that if this relationship were to fall off, um, it doesn't feel like this person could pick up the pieces. It feels manipulative, honestly, but like a really high degree of it. Um, and I feel like this person puts the other person in a box a lot, and doesn't allow them to kind of, do what they need to do to live their best life. Nine of Cups. I'm hoping I get one group at least that is like. Anyway, so with this Nine of Cups, there's definitely a wish fulfillment that is wanting to come through here, and there's a ultimate goal. But I think someone here needs to see a lot of emotional maturity before that is able to be attained. Yeah. Let's clarify. So let's clarify for the Three of Pentacles. Okay. So again, we have the visual of two people getting married. So this could have very well been something that you wanted to lead to marriage, or was in the moments of that, and I just don't think things worked out. With Strength here, there's definitely a need to kind of listen to that gut and what your gut is telling you is best for you. Like, yes, even though this is something that has brought movement possibly into your life, that doesn't mean that it's something that needs to stay. I think both parties do want this to work out and do want this to kind of happen, but I don't think it's feasible when one partner really feels drained, you know? With the Ace of Cups coming out, it definitely almost feels like both parties need to learn kind of how to love themselves and how to show themselves care within all of this, or without all of this, and kind of learn to refill your own cup and refill your own emotional reservoirs in this. You have the Hierophant coming out in reverse. Definitely lots of old styles of thinking, I think. And I think that could be something that is stopping this relationship from moving in a different direction rather than the direction that they think it's supposed to head in. I think with the 5 as well, 5 being like a number of challenges, I definitely think there's been a lot of those kinds of situations where it feels like everything is kind of challenging and neither party is really learning to learn from the other side. Yeah. You have 4 of Wands and then you have 3 of Swords right on top. And this was that heartbreak I was talking about earlier with the 4 of Swords in reverse. It feels like something very big has happened in this relationship that caused someone to not be able to trust the other person. And trust is a very hard thing to build back up. And it feels as though that is something that is not going to be able to kind of be rebuilt within this relationship, to be quite frank with you. You have Judgment and you have the Chariot too. There's definitely 2 signs of kind of listening to what the self wants, and then you have Strength as well. There's a higher calling here of knowing what would be best for you in this situation. And you have a lot of major arcana coming out. I would say it's about equal to the minor arcana, which are, you know, Judgment, Tower, bigger cards. And to me, that is always a sign that spirit is on your side within all of this. And even if there's a full change and a full rock up of what is happening in this relationship and what is even happening in your life because of this, I think allowing yourself to really listen to that higher calling is what is of the utmost importance here. Page of Swords in reverse, definitely not the clearest communication on both sides, I would say. And again, it feels like this person is kind of blurring boundaries and blurring each other's boundaries and blurring each other's sense of self and clarity of who they are, to kind of make it easier to be able to manipulate the other person. 9 of Cups coming out on top, coming out, and the Page of Pentacles coming out onto the 9 of Cups. I think, and it's kind of facing right towards the 9 of Cups. I think both parties, again, allowing emotional maturity to kind of come into play here. And truly investing into that and truly investing into self is what's going to be most important within this situation, rather than continuing to invest into this relationship that doesn't feel like it's getting very far. Okay. So we have a no. And I'm getting that as a no. I don't think this relationship should continue, and no. Kind of no, this person is not leading you to what is best intended for you. You have a year from now, but then you have in the near future coming out in reverse, which makes me feel as though a year from now something different might come up, either a job or a relationship or something else. But and the in the near future feels like kind of feels more towards this relationship, that I don't feel like this relationship could work out in the near future. And I usually don't take reversals with this deck, but it felt very poignant to speak on it that way. Let's get 2 from the Romance Angels, please. I'll take these 2 though. Healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And I think, again, this kind of goes for both parties. Learning to kind of let go of those bigger feelings that we have with our families would be helpful in a situation like this. And then you have flirt in reverse, which makes me, it's right on top of this 3 of Swords. It makes me feel like someone tried to get into some kind of third party situation here. And again, I don't usually take reversals for this deck either, but it felt very important that I say that. And it says extend your lighthearted energy to others, which is such a broad statement. And I think that would kind of constitute as well of allowing yourself to broaden your spectrum of people that you keep in contact with, allowing yourself to reconnect those ties if those are something that you have lost within this relationship. Kind of just to allow yourself to bring yourself back into your own circle, so that maybe when you do decide to leave this relationship, as I do think you should, that it would be easier to kind of transition into that. Yeah. Okay, group 2. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, for group 1, it got a little, hefty there. Hefty. And, I hope it wasn't too much, but as well, I think it's something that needs to be heard sometimes from an outside party. If you want to like and subscribe and all of those beautiful things, I would love it if you did. And thanks for tuning in. Bye. Hi, group 3. So if you chose this deck, whose name I don't recall, this is your reading. You've come to the right place. So let's get a little bit about what this relationship looks like. The last 2 groups were a little bit intense, so I'm honestly expecting more of the same. But we will see what happens. I'm trying to hope for the best here. But again, we will see what happens. One more about what this relationship looks like. And then let's get a few cards on whether or not this person is for your highest good. Two more, please. Okay. Ooh. take these. It feels like this relationship is really fresh. Feels like this is something new. I feel like in a lot of ways this relationship has caused a lot of clarity of self. With the Ace of Swords coming out, I think it's been really easy to communicate with this person. You have the Magician coming out as well, so it definitely feels like this person has kind of allowed you to realize your own capabilities. And I think this is also something that was very maybe easy for you to manifest in the first place. There's like chakras here as well on this Magician specifically. And it makes me feel like this person has really allowed you to line up with yourself, if anything. Nine of Cups as well. There's been a lot of emotional maturity within this and growth from this relationship, I think also on both parties. And it does feel like this has been something that has been a wish that has kind of come true almost. This feels so different from the other two relationships. So if you're here, you're here. Good for you. Yeah, with this Nine of Cups, it definitely feels like there's been a lot of emotional movement on both parts. And kind of reconciling with a lot of maybe old patterns and allowing yourself to create new boundaries in a good way, you know. You have the Ace of Wands coming out as well. Definitely, again, feels like a very fresh relationship. With the Ace of Wands, definitely, this is someone that struck the match within you and kind of ignited your own fire. Ignited your own fire to kind of move towards what you want to be doing and who you want to be and all those kinds of things. The Seven of Cups is coming out, and usually this talks about options to me, but it doesn't even feel, it feels like this relationship has allowed a lot of different options in who you are and what you want to be doing. With Seven of Cups as well, definitely, you know, realize, I think, what the realistic things would be that you can achieve. I think it can get a little bit confusing. And maybe even, you know, realistic goals within this relationship and, you know, how far you want to see it go and all that kind of stuff. Maybe even really talking about it and making things concrete between this person because maybe it's not yet. It kind of feels that way. And maybe it even is talking about you having other options or other people that you might be interested or talking to, and maybe kind of learning to realize that this is the relationship that you should be investing into. You do have Eight of Pentacles, so again, it does feel like there's a lot of work on self within this relationship. Kind of honing your own crafts beyond this relationship, but also kind of working together or learning to work work on yourself so that this relationship, like when you both kind of come together or if you are together, that it can just work to its own benefit. With Judgment, I think the highest calling of self understands, really understands what to get out of this situation, what you need out of this situation. So really listen to that, especially if you're not with this person. And this kind of feels like that sign almost to get things moving with this person. You know, get the show on the road, honey. Get the show on the road. You have Death coming out as well, so definitely I feel like if this relationship isn't something that has started yet, and even if it isn't, kind of mow the lawn, you know what I mean? Allow space for something different to grow. There has to be a shift of allowing something to be let go so that something else can come in, so that it has the room to come in, so that spirit can offer those blessings to you. So let's get clarification. So clarification for the Ace of Swords, for the Magician, Nine of Cups. With this Eight of Swords, oops, that's a lot of cards. With this Eight of Swords, it definitely feels almost like a past energy, where there was a lot of being held up by yourself, and kind of holding yourself back in a lot of situations. Could be more than just relationships. This Fool really wants to come out. It's the second time I see it. It feels like you were holding yourself back in a lot of other relationships, or someone kind of learned to put you in that place and you stayed there. And this relationship has kind of offered that clear-cut clarity that you need about yourself. With the Hermit in reverse, there's definitely, again, kind of a moment here where there is a need to reflect. There is a need to reflect on your own journey, and kind of take that inward step for a second to allow yourself to realize, like, okay, is this exactly what I've been manifesting? Take that moment to really sit with it. Eight of Wands as well. If you're waiting on them to communicate with you, that will probably be happening. I don't like to say soon, but the Eight of Wands does talk about quick talking or communication. So, and I think it's also offered a level of communication with yourself and your own emotions, and how you kind of open up about those with a partner or somebody that you're interested in. So you have the Two of Wands. Again, the decision is kind of in your hands here, especially with the Ace of Wands as well. I think you know which one to take, but you are kind of just waiting for the best moment, possibly, I feel. There is a fear here to jump into this, especially with the Seven of Cups. I think maybe being non-committal is something that has been at your foot for a very long time. That's the exact feeling I'm getting. And kind of not wanting to put all your eggs in one basket, but there's, whenever the Fool comes out in reverse, it really makes me wonder, like, whether or not this person is making the right decision by not jumping into this, by not allowing themselves to just go in head first into this relationship. You have Ace of Pentacles coming out in reverse with the Eight of Pentacles, which makes me feel like there's a, yeah, there's a lot of work on yourself, but you're unsure of where to really sow the seed so that you can grow something out of it, rather than just kind of sitting around. And it also, you know, very much can be that you might be putting it into the wrong space, or the wrong spaces. And it feels very outside of this relationship. Five of Cups coming out with Judgment. I think there's still a lot of sorrow, possibly, for some reason. Again, I think that's why this Death is coming out. There's a lot of pain and a lot of sadness towards possibly a past situation. Maybe it not going as you planned. And I think that's why this calling is a little hard to hear sometimes. This higher self is a little hard to get a clear vision from, because there's just so much pain. But you do have to understand that there are, you know, bigger and better things out there, and that's not to minimize the pain that you are feeling, but the Five of Cups really talks about focusing on that pain a little bit too much. So really learn to kind of, take the energy elsewhere if you have to. With death coming out, and then you have the Tower in reverse, it's like that there are parts and pieces that have to be let go of here. There needs to be a shift in perspective on how you're looking at the situation, and you're just kind of choosing not to do that. Again, that's kind of this Fool as well. There's this want and this need for like a shift of energy, and it's just not happening because, and Hermit as well in reverse, there's this need to really focus on what is happening next in your life and really allowing yourself to move forward into this. I think I'm getting very much allowing yourself to move forward into this relationship. And there's a huge fear here of things kind of collapsing, and I don't think that things collapsing need to be the fear. I think the fear needs to be staying in the same situation or staying in a building that is collapsing rather than letting it fall to the ground and moving elsewhere. Whew, that was deep of me. Look at me. That's a big word for Elmo. Let's get a couple of oracle cards from the angel answers. In the near future, again, this is that 8 of Wands. So this relationship could be making its cameo in a very, in a theater near you very soon. Get more information, which I think is a really good statement. Get more information out of this person, get more information out of this relationship, maybe get information out of their friends to see how they're feeling before you actually move into this. But also just get to know this person possibly a little bit more. And maybe that's why there's this fear of allowing yourself to really deep dive into this situation because of that, the situation will improve. So if this was something that was a little rocky to start, definitely this is something that will find its space to move and shift into something different. Let's take this one. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. And this was literally what I was just talking about. Allow yourself to get more information. If you need to wait, again, Fool in reverse, if you need to wait, if you need to take that step back, Hermit in reverse as well, if you need to take that step back and really focus on yourself for a second, do that. But, make your intentions clear with this person about what is happening and how you're feeling. And again, get more information about how to best treat them in this situation. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. And this is that 5 of Cups coming out. There's been so much focus on what you don't have rather than focusing on what you do have and what you can make out of this situation, what can happen out of this situation. So it is truly time to allow yourself to let go of the things that have happened to you, make that space so that this person can come into your life and you can continue to move forward with them. Okay, I hope this was helpful, Group 3. You were the lucky group. I do think there are things that need to be let go of here, obviously, like we talked about, but that is something that you can do on your own time, especially with that 8 of Pentacles. That feels like something you are already working towards. So continue that work and allow yourself to feel free. I hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe if you want to. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.